The news broke that pharmaceutical tariffs are on their way later this month. And what I'm not hearing enough of is how this impacts disabled people. Many of us rely on medications to keep us alive, and the only option is for those medications to come from overseas. And if you're on federal disability, there's no increase in your income to pay for these tariffs on pharmaceuticals. And if you're on SSI, you can't have more than $2,000 in your bank account. So it's not even like you could save up or have a GoFundMe to pay for the increased costs of your medications. Tariffs on pharmaceuticals are literally a death sentence for disabled people.
When it comes to pharmaceuticals, 72% of our pharmaceuticals are made overseas. Despite the fact that the companies in our country are manufacturing medications at a cheaper rate because they're doing it overseas, those same companies are charging profit margins that are upwards of 30% or more. In other words, they're making huge profits off of something that's not really costing them a whole lot of money to make. So when we throw a tariff in there, what happens? Do they lower their profits? No. In order to get them to lower their profits, we would have to set a profit cap. And we do have some legislation for that, but we don't have very good, well-enforced legislation. And as it turns out, the S&P 500 companies that tend to be the larger, bigger companies that put a lot more into politics and a lot more into lobbying, these companies tend to not be reined in very easily. So more than likely when we apply the tariff, which there is a tariff going on into effect on this, as there's many tariffs that are going in, as we found out, the cost of those medications will no doubt go up.
Generic medications are about to get stupid expensive. Trump just hit India with a 26% tariff, and guess who makes half of our generic medications? India. And before anybody goes, yeah, but they exempted pharmaceuticals. Sure. Maybe for now, because nothing screams stable leadership like maybe not torching the supply chain that keeps millions of Americans alive. You're just trying to survive this hellscape with a little sertraline or Zoloft, which is one of the most prescribed antidepressants in the country. Average monthly cost is about $25 to $70 a month without insurance. Tariffs could bump that to $35 to $95. This honestly could just be a stealth tax on low-income, sick Americans. So while billionaires get tax breaks and the rich get richer, the rest of us are out here debating whether or not we can afford antidepressants and our groceries. If you guys are out here feeling like you're screaming into the void today as well, just know you're not alone, but make sure your insurance covers that too.
Hi, my name's Lex. I'm a nurse, and if you take prescription medications, you're going to want to watch this video. As of this morning, Trump has imposed a 26% tariff on India. India makes 50% of all of the generic medications prescribed in the United States. That means your antibiotics, your diabetes medications, your blood pressure medications, your statins, your antidepressants, all of those, if they are the generic version that is manufactured in India, will increase in price by 26%. As a healthcare worker, this news terrifies me because medication compliance is a huge issue in the United States. The amount of people that we see that come to us in a medical crisis or emergency simply because they cannot afford their prescription medications is insane. I will never forget the day I took care of a father of 4, all under the age of 10, all of his children under the age of 10, who had to choose between feeding his kids and filling his antihypertensives, his blood pressure medications. Because of this choice, he obviously chose feeding his kids. A aneurysm that had been growing in his head burst because his blood pressure grew too high, and he died. These types of tariffs, these types of attacks on our medicine will kill people. And once again, we pay the tariffs. India does not pay the tariffs. You and I do. So now our medications, if they are the generic form, and one of the 1 and 2 medications that are the generic form manufactured in India, will increase in price by 26%. And people are going to die because of it.